Hello, hello. Welcome to the Mystic Path. This is your October 2022 update. We're going to talk about some stuff messages that have come in. We're going to talk about some crystals that are good for the month. We'll pull some cards. So get comfortable, get a coffee or a tea. I have a aperitif, which is plant-based drink, I guess. It's called Three Spirits. And it's just like all kinds of like things that are good for you. It's made from herbs and mushrooms and things of nature, and it gives you natural things, antioxidants, energy boosts, all of that stuff. So grab something, settle in, and we're going to use, because it's October update, we're going to use, I got this last year after Christmas, so I haven't used it that much because I feel like it's a holiday deck. Okay, I love this movie. When I saw this deck, I was like, absolutely. So The Nightmare Before Christmas, we got a little Halloween. For the month, we're going to also use the Art Oracles, which we love. That was a gift I actually got for Christmas last year. Very good gift. I've used it a lot this year. I love it. And then we're going to pull from the Archangel Metatron deck by Amanda Ellis. We're going to use some fire element spray by Amanda Ellis. The crystals and essential oil recommendations we want to give a shout out and credit to Jamie Butler, the Everyday Medium. We love her, and she always has a good selection of crystals and a good essential oil blend for the month. So I'm gonna share those with you because I personally use them, so that's why I share. We have a full moon coming up October 9th. In Aries, which is a fire sign. So that's why I was spraying a little bit of this fire sign. Fire is action, right? Okay, so let's just get right into it, okay? Because October is a very big month. Sorry for the little noise there. October is a very big month, full of surprises. There will be a lot of fast shifting happening and soul growth happening. This month we have a full moon, a new moon, and a partial solar eclipse at the new moon. So there's a lot of intense energies going on in October. And I'm going to kind of give a little forecasting of what you can expect, what you're going to be feeling, what things may come up for you. Sophia just walked in, so you may hear her. Watson has been in and out, playing with toys, jumping on the altar. So he may join us as well. He was excited I was getting everything ready, but then I think he got impatient because I was, lighting candles, culling in the guides, getting protection, all of that stuff. So I think he got frustrated because I was taking too long. Okay, so just those disclaimers. We may have some We may have some mystic cats joining us today. Okay, good. So this month, like I said, a lot of energies going on. It's going to be a very intense month for emotionally processing our feelings and thoughts and patterns and doing some deep inner work. The energy this month is going to be very supportive of our spiritual journey. It's going to be very supportive of pushing us to kind of explore the deeper meanings in things, and maybe the deeper meanings in what we're going through, right? Maybe if we're going through something rough and intense, maybe there's a deeper lesson there. And this energy is going to be really supportive of kind of getting clarity on what those deeper messages and lessons may be. In the larger collective globally, we're still going to see some restrictions happening. We're going to see still natural disasters and political and financial instability. This has been going on now since the 2020, the year that was just a lot. There was just a lot of things going on right after the other. There wasn't a lot of time for processing, right? So this is not new energy. We've kind of been in this energy now for a couple of years. We're still going to be in it for a little while. What we're going to start seeing are severe changes in our systems and institutions that we've come to rely on. Now, that creates instability, right? And that is hard for a lot of people. It's hard for people to watch their institutions and their systems and structures not live up to what, the ideal is. So a lot of people are having to reconcile that. And there's an energy too that we can still expect some setbacks in solving some of these problems, right? There's a lot of things going on globally. And these are very complicated issues to fix. And usually they have connections, so that one thing not working properly affects another thing, and then that affects another thing, right? So we have these chain reactions also happening when things are breaking down. There's a lot of turmoil going on in the globe as far as with Ukraine, North Korea, China, there's just a lot going on. And we just I live in Florida. We just had a massive hurricane here that literally destroyed a few communities. Sanibel Island is pretty much destroyed. It was leveled. And there were a lot of people that relied. There was a lot of tourism that happened there. And anyway, so there's a lot of this instantaneous severe change happening. And we as humans have to cope with it and get through it, right? And try to keep our head on straight and not get spun out of control, because it's really even harder to solve problems when you're melting down, right? And I say this because, we all melt down. All of us. I melt down from time to time. Although it doesn't happen very often anymore, because I've been on this journey for so many years and I've been in therapy and doing work for so many years. So those meltdowns are few and far between, but they still do occasionally happen. And when they don't happen, I can still see where all these things are piling on to me, right? And I'm conscious of the fact that man, there's a lot of pile on. There's a lot of issues happening all at one time. I'm getting overwhelmed. And so that's why I don't melt down, because I recognize and I can see what's happening, and then I try to lean into my tools. But, that doesn't always work. I mean, it most of the time works, but there are occasions where, something so shocking and changing happens to your life that it overwhelms you so much that the emotions overtake you. And then it takes you a little while to kind of reflect and be like, oh, I got too angry, or I got too upset. I shouldn't have said that, or you get what I'm saying. So just keep that in mind, because the energy globally and in the collective right now is like not really conducive to problem solving or creating solutions. Okay, right now we're still kind of in the breakdown of things. We have a full moon coming up on the 9th. There's also a full moon reading, so you can go reference that if you want. But that full moon will be bringing in some energy of patience and determination, which will definitely help us in overcoming any hardship we may be experiencing right now. And like I was just talking about, I live in a place where I live more inland, we had some damage and some flooding, and we were without power and water for a couple days, but all is well now in my hood, and there are still lots of places in Florida where things are not well, and people are having to live in shelters. They've lost everything. They still don't have electricity. In the case of Sanibel Island, the bridge was destroyed, so those people that are there are stranded and can't even get to the mainland, so they're having to use helicopters to get them supplies. And so there's going to be a lot of hardship going on in October, and a lot of opportunities for growth, because as we know, most of the learning is done at the bottom. That's why in those lower vibrations, that's where a lot of the lessons are. So, nobody can escape the shadow, I always say. Okay, so before we move forward, let's just talk about, and I want to give a shout out again, Jamie Butler, the Everyday Medium. You can find her on YouTube. She's also all over other various social medias. So she suggested that in October, our biggest challenge this month will be our throat chakra. The biggest chakra needed will be our solar plexus, and the chakra that's like supporting everything is the earth chakra. So it's going to be very important to be grounded this month, right? She also suggested that you create a mix of essential oils, 3 drops of bergamot, 2 drops of cypress, 1 drop of orange. I have yet to do that. She also suggests a good crystal to keep you powerful and keep that solar plexus clear and confident this month is tiger eye. I have this nice palm stone, tiger eye palm stone. And so this is a good stone. Carry in your pocket, your purse, your bra, on a bracelet, however you want to do it. I like to do it with bracelets. Also, other crystals good for this month. Blue lace agate. This is going to be a very good crystal to keep on you all the time in October if you wanted. Or same thing, bra, purse, pocket, whatever. This is blue lace agate. It's really beautiful. Oops, I don't know if you can see. It's all different shades of blue. You can see through it, kind of. in areas. I also have it here on a bracelet right here, these 3 beads. So you can see it kind of is like glowy. It glows almost, it seems like, even though it's not really glowing. But this will be really good for your throat chakra. So maybe a necklace right around your throat, right? Also, this is going to be really good to grid your bed with these other crystals. Okay, so another crystal to keep on you, carry in your pocket. Where is a bracelet? I have it here as a bracelet. Boop, boop. Obsidian. Okay, obsidian, very shiny, like glass. I also have a little obsidian point here. So I also have it on my wrist. So also good for carrying with you, like I said. And then this is good for gridding your bed. Okay, selenite, amethyst, very good crystal for getting a good night's sleep. Obsidian, and blue lace agate. And it doesn't matter, like, see how these are little chips and this is a big rock? It doesn't matter. The vibration's the same no matter the size. So you could put, one of these little ones on each 4 corners of your bed under your mattress, and it would do the same as these big pieces, right? So you can grid your bed with all of these. I gridded my bed a few nights ago with all of these. Oh, I've been sleeping so good. So I highly recommend it. You can get some, and you can just get some chips of each one, right? And then just put, a grouping of these 4 little crystals on the 4 points of your bed. If you don't have that many, you can do a triangle, like 1 at the top of the bed, 2 at the bottom, right? In a triangle, because that'll still make a pyramid. If you only have 1 of each of these crystals, you could put them directly under your mattress where you would sleep. So there's some crystals for the month. We're just going to leave some of this blue agate on the altar here. I will actually put it back here so the cats can't knock it off. I have some at my desk. I gridded my bed. I'm wearing some. It's going to be a very good crystal for our throat chakra this month, keeping things calm, keeping the communication smooth, right? And not like a vomit or a dump. We're going to talk about that later. Okay. So let's see. What else? Okay. So in early October, we're going to find the energy is very supportive of us gathering insights and ideas that we've had throughout the year and then organizing them in a way that allows us to take action, right? And again, this full moon coming up on the 9th is in Aries. So it's a fire sign, which is fire is all about passion, creativity, taking action, moving swiftly, right? So this energy is going to drive us to want to evolve. It's going to drive us to want to start changing outdated patterns. And we're going to see that in individuals and in the collective, right? We're going to see, like I was talking about, systems breaking down. The reason systems are breaking down is because people are taking a step back and they're slowing down and they're starting to reevaluate and take stock on their life and their choices and their routines and their behaviors and their patterns. And a lot of people on a global scale and on an individual scale are realizing like that's a toxic way to do things, or that's a dysfunctional way that is harmful to the humans that participate, right? And so then we're gonna feel the urge to want to start to change these patterns and to like move things forward and keep things from being so outdated, right? So that's a good thing. We will continue to see in both our individual experience and in the larger collective experience, we will start to begin to see what in the world is like false or corrupt or decaying in our systems and our structures that we rely upon. And the energy is not really going to be gentle about it. So it's going to be pretty ruthless. We're going to have to face some harsh truths about how we do things in society. And we're probably going to have to face them not in a gentle way. So like something big will happen that will force everyone to face an issue, right? Kind of how like in 2020, the murder of George Floyd did that, I feel like, right? His murder went global and sparked outrage globally. And then we started talking about and addressing the fact that minorities are not treated the same in our systems. And it's a systematic problem that was built into like the design of these systems, right? And so in order to change that, these systems are either going to have to fall away or they're going to have to be willing to adjust and change. And again, that's not going to be an easy process, and it does not happen overnight. So we need to be patient. We need to understand that this takes time. Change is very slow, okay? When we study history, we can see that change takes decades, right? Sometimes centuries. But the good news is these things happening, is kind of, like I said, it's going to drive us to want to start changing and want to start doing things differently. Okay. I'm feeling like pull a tarot card on like the 1st of October. Let's pull a card on the energy I was just talking about. This energy is going to drive us to want to change individually and as a society. What will the outcome be from seeing all of these illusions clearly? These cards are still pretty new, so they are still a little bit stiff. And so sometimes it takes a little long. Oh, well, there we go. Okay. So this is the 5 of Wands. Okay. So the outcome of all of these systems breaking down. 5 of Wands. Let's just see. I'm sorry. 4 of Wands. 4 of Wands, my bad. Yeah, there's only 4 candles there, Amy. Get it together. Okay. 4 of Wands. 4 of Wands. Represents celebration. Recognizing of accomplishments. Stability, security, and comfort. Enjoy the celebration, but do not forget there is still work to be done. Okay? So, basically this is saying, people are going to start to see the illusions. Systems are going to start struggling, breaking down. Everybody's going to start to see the things that need to be adjusted and changed. And I think people are going to be excited about that, is what I'm getting from this card. People are going to be excited and want to celebrate. Like, finally, right? This is a perfect example. Just the other day, I live in the States. Just the other day, our president made a statement that he was pardoning all marijuana offenses, federal charges, and he was urging all state governors to do the same. And then he said, and we're asking the Justice Department and the Health Department to reclassify marijuana. And when I heard that, I was super excited because I was like, it's about time, right? Because we've been arresting and jailing people who are caught with a joint because marijuana is criminalized the same as like heroin or fentanyl in America. And it's been that way for several decades, which is absurd because it uses up I won't get into it all the way, but it uses up our police force. It uses up resources and money. It ruins people's lives because now they have a felony record for a joint being caught with weed. And it just doesn't seem to make sense. It puts more stress on our system than it actually helps, right? So my generation has been saying for the last 3 or 4 decades, like probably 3 decades, that this is ridiculous, that marijuana still, like they treat marijuana offenders like they've murdered somebody, which is crazy, right? So we're changing that now. And I was super excited about it. And I was like, yes, it's about time, right? This is long overdue. But this card is reminding us that it's great to celebrate it and be excited about it. But the announcement is not doing it, right? So you still have to do the work to make it happen. So that's what this is saying. Is like, there are a lot of changes coming. And most people, I think, are going to be excited that we're finally starting to wake up to some of these issues that have needed to be addressed for a long time. But don't get caught up in the excitement is what I'm hearing. Don't get too caught up in the excitement because we still have to do the work to make it actually a reality. Okay? So let's keep going. All right. I'm just checking my notes here. Okay, now this energy coming in October is likely to bring in a little bit of tension, okay? We're going to feel a little tension because it's going to be that whole what I want to do versus what I need to do, right? Like, I need to get mentally healthy and heal, but I want to ignore my problems and just hang out with my friends as a distraction, right? It's just an example that just channeled right out of my mouth. That's funny. So we're going to kind of feel that tension because all of this energy is really, really bringing us an opportunity to dig down deep and heal some core wounds. Okay, so we're likely this month to see things brought to our attention, wounds from maybe our past, from maybe our childhood that are going to be brought to our attention that we haven't fully dealt with yet, right? Things like fears, doubts, insecurities. That's why we were talking about what's going to be needed the most is our solar plexus, because we're going to want to lean into our personal strength, right? We're going to want to lean into that I am, and we're going to try if we can, if we're in a place where we have the tools to deal with the emotional things that come up and we're able to deal with those things and get back into alignment fairly quickly, then those are the people that are being called to step up and lead. The ones who are still new to the journey, the ones who are still digging through the layers of the onion that are, that is our psyche. And when you start, I was just having a conversation with somebody the other day because she was like, oh, I think I'm still too new to the journey to maybe understand what you're saying. And I was saying to her, listen, you just have to hang in there, because the first 3 years of the healing journey are probably the hardest, right? Because you're having to really peel that onion and get into that deep core stuff that needs healing. We have to, and so sometimes that's hard, right? It's facing our fears. It's facing our flaws. It's facing that we may be the toxic person in the friend group or the relationship, right? Or we may be the codependent person in that kind of a relationship, or then the other person is like the toxic, dysfunctional, whatever. I'm just saying, this is what I'm talking about. When you peel the onion, you have to face sometimes hard truths about yourself, because the only way to change those things is to face them, acknowledge them, and start trying to act towards change, right? So, so we also want to keep in mind that we're being encouraged to trust, okay? Some of us are going to be challenged this month to trust that and I think this is a message directly for me. Some of the rest of you might benefit to it as well. But I tend to convince myself at times, not all the time, but at times, that, oh, I'm not going to go do that because a lot of those people that are going to be there are not really in alignment, and they're not really doing their healing work. And so I don't, I just don't have the bandwidth for it. Or, there was an instance not too long ago, somebody was asking me out on a date, kept asking me. I don't know. I just felt like, I don't really want to go because I'm in a good place right now. And I kind of, basically, I feel like I've been protecting my alignment, I guess, is really the only way. I don't really know how else to explain it. Almost not in a bad way, but in a way of I'm healthy right now. I'm balanced right now. Everything's going pretty well in my life for the most part, barring the normal everyday things that come or whatever sometimes. And it's inviting somebody else into that space may be disruptive, right? So some of us this month are going to be called to trust that I can keep my calm, stable, balanced life and energy while inviting other people into my life, or going out on dates or friends or whatever, right? So, okay, so then around October 23rd, that's going to be a very intense day, because there's going to be a lot of shifting of planets, right? The Sun and Venus are both going to enter Scorpio, and so, that's going to cause some intense shifts happening. We're going to feel the need around that time to penetrate deep, right? We're not going to be satisfied with these surface conversations or surface relationships. We're going to start evaluating the people in our life who we may have surface relationships with, just shallow relationships. Let's just say you have a friend. I used to have a friend like this. And I mean, I wish her well. I guess we're still friends. I just have not really spoken to her in many years, because as I started shifting, changing, and growing, she really didn't. And so the only thing our relationship really became at that point was like, whenever we'd see each other, she just wanted to gossip. And that's just like a very shallow, right? And she never wanted to talk about anything that was like deep. She never wanted to, have intellectual conversations. And that I just eventually, we grew apart because I craved more, right? I wanted deeper conversations. I wanted to not just have this like surface relationship. So around the 23rd, the sun is really going to illuminate the things that we maybe don't really want to see, right? We're going to get a better, deeper understanding of ourselves and those around us, and we're going to start prioritizing. Like, I'm going to spend more time with this person because this person and I seem to have a deeper emotional connection, and I want to nurture that, and I want that connection to thrive. And this person and I over here don't really have that deep connection, and so I'm not gonna make that a big priority in my life because it's not feeding my soul, right? So what's gonna happen around the mid to the end of the month is we're gonna start really deepening relationships where we have those deep connections with. And those relationships are going to like reach a new level. And then the relationships that we kind of have like shallow interactions with people, those relationships are going to start like either transforming to become a more deeper relationship, or they're going to fall by the wayside. Because you're not going to find them fulfilling anymore. Okay, so this energy is offering us a very good opportunity to start making tangible changes and adjustments in our lives so that we can actually like be the version of our best self, right? Be the person, the best version of ourselves, the person that we, really want to be, the healthy, happy, healed, joyful, loving person, right? So let's try not to let these opportunities pass us by, right? It can be difficult because this energy brings our attention to our conditioned responses and our fears, right? And those things can hold us back. Like sometimes we don't even realize, and this happened to me personally, like I did not even realize how conditioned as a child I was to just respond to something without thinking, without breathing, without, and it wasn't until I did years of therapy and now I see it. And like when I go around other family members of mine, I see now how reactive they are. And I'm like, my gosh, I used to be like that, right? So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like making those adjustments to stop, to take a pause, take a few deep breaths, think about, formulate what I want to say and communicate. Think about the intention I'm putting forward with my words, right? And that just took practice. I just had to relearn how to react to things. And it just takes practice. And sometimes I'm really good at it. And other times I look and I'm like, oh, I reacted there and I wasn't good at taking the pause, right? So anyway, you get what I'm saying. Okay, so now that's around the 23rd I was talking about, right? And so again, we're going to have our attention drawn to some of our own patterns and fears and behaviors that might be dysfunctional and might not be serving us well. And we're going to be willing and actually motivated to start making adjustments. And from now until the end of the year is a really good opportunity to establish adjustments in our communication styles. Like I was just saying, what are the words I'm about to say communicating? What is the intention it's sending? Is it hurtful to somebody else? Is it uplifting, right? We need to start kind of holding ourselves to a higher standard and setting boundaries. It's okay to have an opinion. if you want on everything, but it's not always okay to spew your opinion out on everyone else. And sometimes we have to read the room, right? Sometimes it's not always appropriate to say that thing. So we all need to start kind of reworking our boundaries, reworking our standards that we hold ourselves to, and you'll be surprised at how much growth that brings when you start really just thinking about, like, okay, the sentence I am about to say right now, what is the intention? And then do the words match the intention? Because sometimes we say things we don't really mean and it hurts someone. And it's because we didn't really think through and choose the right words or phrasing for the intent of what we were meaning to get across. Okay? Now, we're going to pull an Archangel. Yes, Mother's Friend card. Because now that we've talked about all that, we're moving into the end of the month, which is where this eclipse comes in, right? It's eclipse season. So this is the last one for the year, I believe. I think. And it's a partial solar eclipse in Scorpio on a new moon, which will be on the 25th of the month. So Metatron, and obviously go check out the new moon reading for any more messages, etc. Metatron, what do you want to tell us about this partial solar eclipse in Scorpio on a new moon? Oh, okay. Scorpio is a water sign. And so I just heard, and it's funny because Archangel Metatron is Amanda's guide, and so all of her stuff is channeled, with him through her. And so he just, as I was shuffling these cards, he was like, Scorpio's a water element, so let's spray some water element so we can, smells good. We'll get in the vibration. What do we need to know, Metatron, for this partial solar eclipse happening on the 25th? Oh, there it is. Okay. Endings. You are held. Card 45. 9, which is about wish fulfillment. Okay, endings. We're going to read, because this book is excellent. I've learned a lot from this book. It gives you a lot of insight. So let's read. And I'm feeling called to say, I hold the cards up like this sometimes when I'm reading, so that if you get your own message from looking at this scene on the card, take that message, because your own messages are for you, right? And they're the strongest ones. So if you get a different message than what I'm saying, you take the message your intuition's giving you. I felt very guided to say that right now. Also, anything I talk about in any of my videos, take what resonates, leave the rest for somebody else, because these are general videos I put out, and we have a lot of people who watch, so whoever's watching will get messages that may not resonate with you, right? So just take the messages that resonate. Don't try to force the other ones that don't fit. Okay, endings. You are held. You know you have reached the end of a road when you have nothing left to give, no more energy to fight, no desire for a turnaround in present-day fortunes. What you face with the ending now presenting in your life is a path to freedom. Yet it feels daunting, an uncharted territory about which you have no understanding. It feels safer to stay with what you know. The jetty out to sea on this card offers an interesting vista, but you would like to turn around and go back rather than to jump in anew. Metatron asks you to look again to see whether this ending is your choice or whether it has been thrust upon you, as there is no real way back anymore. The energy has shifted and moved on, and so must you. It may have to do with any area of your life: relationships, job, residence, health, life stage. We face many endings in life. The lesson is knowing how to adapt to change and yield when necessary. It may take a little time, but you know the answer, and that is to begin again. The only option in life when something ends. For now, you are not supposed to have all the answers. You are asked to put your hand in Metatron's and realize that this ending is a blessing in disguise. It may not feel like it now, but you will grow strong from it and learn from it, and ultimately it will make you stronger. Put aside your doubts and your fears. It is understandable that they feel real to you now, but they are only an illusion keeping you imprisoned where you are, with no compass to steer you forward. Walk the bridge, and you do so with Metatron at your side. The sunset in the evening sky telling you that day is closing and evening beckons. It is time. There will be a new day, and after the darkness, the sun will come back up again. This is an external divine promise to you. Enter the waters of change, and like a life float, all the support of the angelic realm will keep you buoyant and flowing to where you need to be. Endings are necessary. Otherwise, life cannot bring in the new. Nature understands this. The sun and the moon knowing when to rise and fall, and you know that for now an ending is needed, but the new beginning will follow. Be like the birds in the sky who know when the season has changed and migrate to a different place. This is the way of it all, and you are urged to look at as what is ending in your life now and fly free to the next opportunity or life stage that is offered. All is well. Okay, also, while I was reading that card, I was hearing, I know it sounds weird, but that I could do both at the same time, but I was hearing that they're talking about the ending of old behaviors, of old patterns, right? One of the things I heard when I was reading it was like, it's better to stay with the devil you know, right? A lot of people will stay in a not great situation because it's comfortable. And I know what this situation is. I don't know what the next situation will bring me. And that could be worse than what it is now. So I'm just going to sit now in this misery because the unknown is too scary. But what this card is saying is we need to embrace the unknown. You know, we need to embrace the fact that things change. And like that in that reading, one of the things that struck me was said, the energy has moved on, so now must you, right? So when the energy shifts and changes, you cannot force things to be the way they used to be, right? You cannot force yourself to unsee things or to unknow lessons. So once you have those aha moments and that clarity, there's nothing to do but to embrace the ending and move forward, because there's no amount of energy or control or I guess that's all. There's no amount of energy or control that you can put on a situation to make it stay where you want it to stay, right? Growth takes endings and new beginnings, and that's how we move forward. Okay, so they're basically saying that this new moon solar eclipse is going to mark the start of a new journey, because that's going to mark an ending, and we need to embrace that ending. Okay, we need to move forward, even though moving forward may be colored by emotional intensity. Okay, that's what I'm feeling when in my channeled notes, I had written that down, emotional intensity. And when I see this, that's what I feel. But look how beautiful and warm that sun looks. To me, I would love to jump off that pier into that warm, healing sun. But we have to remember that the healing process isn't always easy. So there may be some emotional intensity, right? Those colors are so bright and beautiful and intense, and raw. There may be some rawness. We may have to, like I was saying a second ago, we may have to really dig down deep and ask ourselves, why am I doing this? What is motivating me to have this behavior? Is joy motivating me? Is love motivating me? Is revenge motivating me? Is anger motivating me? Or, and like what I was saying earlier, what is the intention behind my action? What is the intention behind my words? Now is the time, around this eclipse is the time that we're going to need to really start to lean into those questions and to go deeper within ourselves so that we can be the best version of ourselves. This solar eclipse, you may also see some issues come up around like trust, intimacy, vulnerability, right? When there's an intense emotions happening, there is usually a need for us to be intimate and vulnerable with people and to trust that we're in a safe enough place to do that, right? And that brings me to feel guided to say we have to watch who we're talking with, right? That didn't come out right. If we know someone is not a safe place for us to share ideas, and we know somebody is closed-minded and not open-minded, then it's not beneficial for us to try to force that person to change and be open and let me tell you my feelings, because we know, and they may be uncomfortable with it, so we may know that they're not a safe place. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, in this time of emotional intensity, we're going to want to choose carefully who we are vulnerable with, who we trust, and who we share intimate details of our being with. That's what I'm trying to say. Not every being is a safe place. So use your intuition. Do what you feel guided to do. I just felt the need to say that very quickly for some reason. Again, the solar eclipse is going to be a good opportunity for us to deepen our relationships, and not just with other people, with ourselves, with our spiritual practice, with our yoga practice, whatever it is that we connect to and we let guide us, right? This is the time to dig down deep and really start asking ourselves, and we've been talking about this a lot over the last couple of months on this channel. We're kind of at a place in the world where we have to start asking ourselves, what is it that do I believe this just because I was told this my whole life? When I've seen that this belief harms people or tortures people or whatever it is. So sometimes we're just indoctrinated into things as children, because part of our soul path and our soul growth is to learn how to think for ourselves. And the way we learn how to think for ourselves sometimes is to be indoctrinated into things, because then we go so deep into the indoctrination that then we start to realize, oh wait, this indoctrination is actually kind of an illusion. It's letting me down. Right? And then that's how we learn to start asking questions and thinking for ourselves and following our intuition. Okay? So just keep that in mind. This eclipse is going to be a really good time to deepen our relationship with ourself, to lean in and further deepen the connection with our own intuition. And then we can start asking ourselves these questions, these hard questions, like, what is it I actually believe? What are the guiding philosophies that keep me balanced through life, that keep me from going adrift, right? And if you don't have any, like, I don't know, I've always had a very strong internal compass. Like, even when I was young and like partying with my friends, you know, the peer pressure, everybody be like, oh yes, we're gonna go do this, blah, blah, blah. And my gut would instantly tell me, my intuition would instantly say to me, do not do that. And the times I ignored my gut were the times I ended up getting caught or getting in trouble with my parents, right? So that's what I'm saying, is like, now the solar eclipse is going to be a good time to kind of really connect with your intuition and figure out, what are your guiding principles? What are your standards that you keep for yourself, right? What are the boundaries of the lines you will not cross, right? Okay. And then the last few days of the month, we got Halloween. Yes. And we're going to pull an artist card for Halloween, because that's what I'm hearing. The last few days of the month, we're going to start to feel mentally sharper, and we're going to be moving into November. We're going to be probably speaking less and observing more, right? We've kind of talked about how this month it's going to be about adjusting our communication strategies, asking ourselves, what is my intent with this action, with this communication? What am I trying to convey? Do my words match my energy? Things like that. Because we do that a lot in October, towards the end of the month and moving into November, we start to kind of, we've expressed and grown our throat chakra all month. So moving into November, we kind of step back into observer mode a little bit more. We have learned this month, we don't need to always put our opinion out there. It's not always appropriate for us to interject advice or I'm hearing shame, because I know that is still something we do a lot in society, right? Somebody shares something with us, and if we don't agree with it, then we shame them back. So that's just what I'm hearing, is like, those are things we're going to learn this month. So then towards the end of the month, moving into November, we're not going to need to speak as much, because we're going to have kind of prioritized and set boundaries and redeveloped our own standards and strategies. So now we're just going to kind of observe a little bit more. We're going to be a little bit more perceptive and to like what the energy feels like, right? We're going to be more perceptive to feeling like if somebody's words aren't matching their energy. Okay? And that might tend to make us a little suspicious. So you got to watch out for that. We don't want to be suspicious of everyone around us if it's not warranted. Small talk towards the end of the month, moving into November, is not going to feel good. Gossip is not going to feel good. Like we were talking about earlier, this month, we're going to really want to start being deep with the people in our lives. We're going to want to have relationships that have deep emotional connections. And if it's just a surface, shallow relationship, like I said, either it's going to grow and deepen or it's going to fall to the wayside, okay? So we're going to be seeing some more of that towards the end of the month and early November. Also towards the end of the month and moving into November, we're going to prefer to kind of, we're going to reprioritize our time, and we're going to start paying more attention and studying and deepening our understanding of topics and subjects we're passionate about, right? We're going to start kind of like, like, oh, when I was a kid, this example is just coming into my head. So, like, when I was a kid and a teenager, I really loved dinosaurs. And then as a teenager, it turned into like a love of archaeology and fossils. And then I went away to college and I got a real job, and I haven't engaged in that information in years. So now we're going to start to be like, why did I stop doing that? I really loved archaeology and fossils. So I'm going to really now start reading again about it and studying about it and watching documentaries about it. Okay. I mean, insert your thing in the place of archaeology and dinosaurs, right? That is just an example that channeled to me. So maybe somebody out there watching, that applies to you specifically. Yeah, we're going to start at the end of the month internalizing our focus. We're going to start really, trying to make changes and act and live and walk in our truth and our alignment, right? Instead of like wearing the mask. We've talked about that before on this channel. Sometimes we wear a mask in society, and then when we go home, we're somebody else, right? We wear a mask at work. Well, that's all going to start fading away. And if you're doing your work and you're on the emotional, intense journey, you're going to start walking in your truth. You're going to start walking in alignment. The masks are no longer needed. Okay? We're going to be inspired towards the end of the month to reconsider how we use our energy. Like I was saying before, how we direct our physical and mental energies, and where do those choices actually lead us, right? Another example, if I'm directing all my energy to going out and partying with my friends, like, where is that going to lead me? Now is a time where we're going to start to evaluate, oh, that's not actually leading me anywhere productive or positive, right? So we're going to start to reprioritize things in our life so that the priority in our life is to be the best version of ourselves, to put our energy and effort and action towards things that we believe in, things that matter to us, things that we want to see change, right? There's that saying, if you want to see change, be the change, because everybody can sit around and hope for change, but if nobody's acting, taking steps towards it, then nothing ever changes, right? So that's kind of where we're at for the October energies. Let's pull, because it's been about an hour, so we're going to pull an art card here for around Halloween. What artist? Well, actually, we're going to pull two cards. First card, what artist is supporting us for this entire month? What artist is supporting us for this entire month? Artist supporting us for October, please. Okay. Tracy Emin. Don't hide your dirty sheets in the washer. Concentrate on finding, not losing yourself in art. Decay can be fertilizer for new ideas. Okay. Let's see. We'll read a little bit about her. I do not know much about her as an artist. The only thing is this book is not in any kind of rhyme or reason or alphabetical order. There we go. Okay. Like a good friend rolled in garbage, the work of Tracy Emin, British rep at the 2007 Venice Biennial, is both intimate and a potential biohazard. In Everyone I've Ever Slept With, 1963 to 1995, the viewer is welcomed into a small camping tent in which Eamon delivers on the title with those bedmates' names appliqued to the interior walls. Her acclaimed and contested My Bed consisted of a men's mattress after a depressive episode topped with stained sheets, stained panties, contraceptives, empty bottles, cigarette butts, and the emotional compost that fertilized this mess. Imen's personal and confessional works are not only self-portraits, but reflections of societal taboos. Interesting. Okay, sounds to me like she was a little bit of a disruptor. And we talked about how there's going to be a little bit of like disruption in our relationships, right? We're going to start seeing people for who they really are. We're going to start seeing the false, the masks, the lies, the corruption. And so this is basically just saying, when you uncover those things, don't hide them. Show them out for everybody to see, because that's how we all learn and grow. All right. And now we're going to pull one more artist, just because I'm curious. What artist is most likely to come out and play on Halloween? What artist is most likely to come out and play on Halloween? Oh, okay. Ha, that's funny. Cindy Sherman with all these different masks. That's so cool. Don't be yourself, be yourselves. Tell the truth in every fiction. Take a good long look in someone else's mirror. So this is her and all her masks. And she's basically saying, be all of your masks. Integrate into one. I love it. And that's perfect for Halloween with all those different faces. Okay, we're going to leave it here because this is over an hour now. And I hope everyone watching has a wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, weekend, week, whatever it is for you, wherever you're watching. Wishing you all the best, sending you all love and light, of course. Namaste.